The word mindfulness is often translated as kizuki, and that means noticing something. And so mindfulness meditation is called kizuki no meisō. That means noticing meditation. So because of that, there's some understanding among Japanese that this mindfulness meditation is meditation to nurture your ability to notice
novel things.
Yeah, notice things.
Yeah. Is that a Zen interpretation too, or is that more psychological?
No, it's because the term mindfulness is translated into kizuki,
as noticing.
Then people begin to understand mindfulness.
But it's not a classical Buddhist term.
No.
Okay, then I know how to answer the question.
4番目です。
So I don't think that's a good translation. Yes, mindfulness is about noticing, but it's not about looking for novel phenomena or things that you might not have noticed. That, of course, happens naturally when you cultivate mindfulness, but if you emphasize the noticing, then that makes it seem like you're just kind of looking for other things. And there's a reason that people talk about it this way, and that's because in America, mindfulness is used in a different way by a Harvard professor of psychology named Ellen Langer, who has written books on mindfulness where that's exactly what she means by it, that it's noticing novel phenomena. That has nothing to do with meditation. It has nothing to do with the 2,600-year tradition of mindfulness in various Asian countries. And it really adds a big element of confusion. What mindfulness is really about is awareness, as I was saying. So noticing is a subset of what one might be aware of, but when you emphasize noticing, it misses the point. The point is that awareness is infinite, it's boundless. You can't find the end of your own awareness, nor can you find the center of your own awareness. It's like space. There's no center and there's no periphery. When we understand that that's a signature property of being human, because awareness is a fundamental characteristic of our humanity, then we come to realize that we are bigger than the little narratives we tell ourselves about who we are and how our life is and what's wrong with our life and what's right with our life. And we all have stories that we generate about our lives and where we're going and what happened to us and why it happened and why I'm a mess and I'm a failure or why, I need to do this or I need to do that. And these stories, most of them are just not true. Or they're true to a degree. But what mindfulness is basically suggesting is that, excuse me, that who we are is much bigger than our story. And it's time for us to actually inhabit the full dimensionality of who we are. And because of that spaciousness of awareness, that's a very, very big space. And when we see ourselves and know ourselves directly in that kind of a way, wisdom arises. Because we don't need to be afraid in the old way, because our story is too small. And we need to get something in order to build up the story. But when you know that you're complete, then you don't have to add anything to be more complete. You can't be more complete than complete. And so in that way, wisdom arises from the cultivation of mindfulness. And also, since awareness includes others, not just your small self, then compassion naturally arises, because you're not so self-centered, and therefore you feel more with others and have more of an impulse to actually act to alleviate the suffering of other people. And this arises spontaneously. You don't need lectures about compassion in order to cultivate it. It's a natural part of being human, in the same way as when, a child is hurt, the mother instinctively moves towards the child. And we have that in our DNA. And mindfulness cultivates it. One last thing I'll say on that sort of note is that, and I don't know if this is true in Japanese, but I think it is, that in most Asian languages, the word for mind and the word for heart is the same word. So when we say in English mindfulness, if we're not also thinking and feeling heartfulness at the same time, we're actually not understanding, because mindfulness is not, it's not just a concept, it's not just conceptual or cognitive or well, we'll just leave it at that. It's not merely a concept that is much bigger than that. It's this intrinsic awareness that we're capable of that has wisdom and clarity and discernment associated with it.